Minasan konnichiwa, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. 10 years ago, I was in high school and all I can think about was video games. I was so into video games that I thought, hey, maybe my life is a video game. Maybe we're living in a simulation. And at that time, I had a weight problem. And for some reason, I thought that this is my challenge in the game of life. So I treated it as such. And you know what? It worked. I managed to lose more than 30 pounds. Crazy, I know. But yeah, you can totally do this to achieve anything in life, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how. So let's get on with this right away and cut the bullshit. Whenever you start playing any game, the first thing you do is choose the character. And I know you might think, oh, what about games like God of War or Spider-Man? We don't get to choose in these games, right? Yeah, you don't get to choose, but you already selected the character when you decided to play the game. Would you choose to play Spider-Man expecting to play as someone who is not Spider-Man? No, you don't. Nobody does. That's why some people get upset when they're forced to play as a character other than the main character they expected to play as. There are exceptions to this, of course, but the point is, if you want to achieve anything in your life, you first have to select your character, the character that you want to become. If you feel that you're out of shape, then you choose to become a healthy character. If you want to read more books, then you choose to become a smart character. If you want to learn a new language, then you choose to become a character that speaks multiple languages. For some people, simply choosing a character is enough, but for me, I like to take it one step further, and that is to link it to a character that you already know. So for example, if you chose to become a healthy character, then you should think of someone who represents that character. In that case, I would say Spider-Man is a healthy character because he's physically fit. This will help you determine every decision you take in the future. Because whenever you're about to give up, or when you are in a very difficult situation, you will always ask yourself, what would Spider-Man do? What would a healthy character do? And you don't have to be very accurate with this because at the end of the day, it's just a fictional character. So you can just use your imagination and determine what your character would do if they were in that situation. This step is usually called goal setting, which is correct, but I don't like calling it that way. I like to call it choosing your character because it clearly defines what you want to become, unlike goal setting, which is too broad and too generic. If you are someone who never played video games and you decided to get into it, whatever game you choose, you will most likely stick to easy or beginner difficulties, right? Or if you are more of a casual player, maybe you would stick to medium difficulties and so on. But imagine if it's your first time playing video games, and right off the bat, you choose to play Call of Duty on Veteran. You'll get your ass handed to you, and you'll probably quit video games altogether because it's so freaking hard. This is what happens when you set unrealistic goals for yourself. Choosing to exercise at least an hour every day may sound great, but if you currently do 0 hours a day, I don't think that would be a great idea. So it's important to choose the correct difficulty. This stage is usually called the break it into achievable goals or something, but I like to call it choosing your difficulty because it's like choosing the difficulty level in a video game. And that is what you're basically doing. You're breaking it down into simple tasks that align with your current level. Do you want to choose something easy and manageable like exercising for 10 minutes every day, or you want to choose something hard and unrealistic like exercising for 2 hours every day? Once you selected your character and difficulty, it's time to start playing. This is when you realize that there is some adjustment to be made. When you first start playing a game, you may find that you chose a difficulty that is too easy or too hard. Maybe you want to change the controls and play around with the settings, or maybe you find that you chose the wrong character, or maybe you realize that it's not the type of game that you want. It's near impossible to know what works best for you unless you start playing. It is technically possible to make a perfect choice right from the beginning, but it's more likely that you will make some adjustments along the way. So for example, you might realize that exercising for 10 minutes is just too easy, so you need to bump up the difficulty. Or maybe you realize that you have chosen the wrong character, and that becoming an obscure YouTuber like me is not what you really want. And that's okay. It does not matter if you have to make a minor adjustment or a major one. The important thing is that you keep playing and adjusting as you go along. Imagine a game where you can only win. You never lose. Losing isn't even programmed in the game. That would suck, right? Actually, I don't think that even counts as a video game at all. You must realize that obstacles are also programmed in the game of life, just like they're programmed in every video game out there. If there are no struggles in life, then everyone would be able to achieve everything. But on the other hand, why would anyone want to achieve anything if there are no struggles to overcome? There will always be days when you won't have time to do your reading. or maybe you get sick and can't exercise for a few days. And that's okay, because what happens when you lose in a video game? You restart from checkpoint, right? And you need to do the same in your life. You can pick up right where you left off the next day, or as soon as you feel better. The point is not to give up and always restart from that checkpoint. It's always better to continue trying and failing than to just give up and leave it unfinished. There is a reason why all video games have some sort of reward system in place. You might not be aware of it, but it's the very thing that keeps you playing. The satisfaction of simply unlocking a new skin or a new character is a reward in itself. Having a reward system is essential if you want to achieve anything in your life. Because usually, people have this terrible mindset that, oh, you have to be working hard 100% of the time, otherwise you're not making any progress. I kinda understand where they're coming from, because they're probably influenced by people in social media. People who pretend that they're always productive. People who just work hard all the time. No breaks, no fun, nothing. But the truth is, they are taking breaks. They are rewarding themselves off camera. We're just not seeing it. And I think that's the right way to do it. People tend to overcomplicate this, like, oh, what should I reward myself with? If you want to go overboard, that's fine. But the simplest way to do it is to not do anything related to your goal for one day. It's that simple. And before ending the video, I want to say that don't let anyone limit your creativity and imagination. To some people, this approach may seem silly or childish, but as long as it helps, as long as you're trying to achieve your goals, who cares, right? And remember, whenever you fail, you just restart from checkpoint and keep going. And as the wise American inventor of the light bulb once said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. If you found this video to be useful or entertaining, I encourage you to check out my other video where I talk about what God of War teaches us about parenting, which I haven't started making yet, so I gotta go now and start working on it just so you can see it on the screen as soon as possible. But anyway, until next time, Jenny, bye bye.